Hello, Reader Babes. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for finding me. I am extremely happy to have you here today because I'm filming my favourite video in the world, which is my monthly reading wrap-up videos. I read 15 books in February, which is crazy and not normal for me. I usually read like 7 books a month, but I had nothing to do in February, so there's a lot of books. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about all the books, rating them all, letting you know which ones I recommend. We have from 1 star to 5 star this month, so let's get into it. Okay, so the first book I read this month was Still Beating. I don't own a physical copy of it, thank God. I was on TikTok and someone was like, oh my gosh, this book is so beautiful. So I was like, okay, I like beauty. Let me pick it up. And you know when you're reading a book and you're like, yeah, I should stop. This isn't for me. But then you just keep on going. That was me with this book. I should have stopped. I should not have finished this book. And it's basically about this girl and her sister's fiance are all in the club dancing because it's her sister's birthday, and then they decide to go home, the sister and the fiance, and she decides to stay out a bit longer, and then she loses her wallet, so she can't call an Uber. That doesn't make sense to me because Uber is a phone app, but let's just go with it for a second. So she can't get home, so she calls her brother-in-law to pick her up, and he comes, and basically they both get kidnapped by a psycho, like a sicko, like a sick sicko. And yeah, he basically kidnaps them, puts them in the basement, and they go through traumatic stuff. I'm hoping that I don't need to go into further detail and you hopefully catch my drift, but when I say traumatic, I mean traumatic. And then things get crazy. If that wasn't crazy enough for you, things get crazy. This book wasn't for me. It was crazy. I should have DNF'd it, but I didn't. And it was a 1 star. If you are not new to this channel, you will know that I started my Harry Potter journey last year. So I read all the books for the first time and watched all the movies for the first time. Loved it. I'm a Harry Potter girly now. So ever since I read the books, I've been seeing Manacled. And I'm like, okay, what's Manacled? So Manacled is a fanfic. Don't judge. Don't skip ahead. Just bear with me. Give me a second. So Manacled is a fanfic. So it was basically written as a alternate, not point of view, alternate ending. Like if the ending of Harry Potter didn't happen, this is like a different path that didn't happen, but it could have happened. So yeah, that's basically what we're following. I will always say there was an Angela before Manacled and there was an Angela after Manacled. That book changed my life. Like that book was so amazing. It's basically, I don't want to give too much because I think you should go in blind, but the main character of the story is Hermione Granger. She's got a mission from the Order of the Phoenix and we're following her carry that out. It's very deep, quite triggering, so definitely check your trigger warnings if you want to get into it. But oh my gosh, like that is a book right there. It was so good. It was so gripping. I was so angry reading it, like all the emotions. Like I felt love, betrayal, rage. It was so good. It's like an easy 6 stars for me. It was amazing. So yeah, if you've read Harry Potter and you're looking for something else, I would definitely give it a go. Check the trigger warnings, obviously, and definitely go in blind. The book is set up in like 3 parts. It's set up in present day, and then it's flashback, and then it's back to present day. And my advice would be like wait at least until you get to the flashback, because that's when the book turns on its head. I've heard a lot of people read the flashback first. Don't do that. If this is your first time, don't do that. The flashback is where the juice is, so that's my advice if you're planning to get into it. But I definitely recommend, if you haven't read Manacled and you decide to read it after this video, please let me know how you feel about it, because I've got nobody else to speak to about it, because no one I know has read it. So yeah. Okay, next I'm going to be talking about 5 books that I read. The Improbable Meet Cute collection. So basically 6 authors came together and they all wrote short books, novellas. So I think a novella is under 200 pages. And they're all romance and they're all Valentine's inspired. And yeah, they're free on Kindle Unlimited if you have that. And they're free on Audible. You don't need to use a credit if you have that as well. So I thought, let's give it a go. I only read 5. There are 6. The reason I didn't get to the 6 is because there's 6 books, like that's a lot. I was just bored and tired by the end of it, so I can't give a review on that one, but I can give a review on the rest of the 5. I will say I'm going to give ratings. However, my ratings for novellas are different from my ratings to normal books, just because I feel like a novella is less pages, so they don't have as long or as much of a chance to like make me fall in love with the characters and the story. You kind of have to get to the point a little bit, so like my rating is less harsh. That's just my warning. Let's get into it. So the first book was The Exception to the Rule. This was by Christina Lauren. I think they're 2 people, Christina and Lauren, and they're friends, and they write books together. I've never read any of their other books, but this one was good, so I will continue. But in this one, we follow this guy accidentally emails this girl. I think he's supposed to email a teacher about like an extension or something, and he accidentally emails a student email rather than the teacher email. And she responds and she's like, you got the wrong email, but hey, it's fine. Thank you. At least one guy emailed me on Valentine's Day. So they basically kept it up. We followed them over the next like decade, emailing back and forth only on Valentine's Day. And that's all I'm going to tell you because I really recommend this one. I think you should get into it. It was a 5-star for me, 5-star for a novella, that is. But honestly, I listened to this on my morning run in my earphones and I was laughing on the street. Like, this was such a fun vibe. I really enjoyed myself. So I would definitely recommend this one. It's funny, it's cute. Recommend. The second book in this collection is The Worst Wingman Ever. This one was cute too. This guy accidentally left a sexy coupon on the girl's car, but it was the wrong girl and it wasn't from him, it was from his brother. He was supposed to be like a wingman, so wingman went wrong. He keeps on seeing her car and they basically keep on leaving notes and interacting with each other. This one's super cute too. Fun vibe. 4 stars. I liked it. It was adorable. And bear in mind, like, if they're on Audible, like, some of these are like between 1-2 hours. Like, they're not long at all. And same with the books. Like, if you read them, then they're not long. So I definitely would recommend it. The third book is Rosie and the Dreamboat. I didn't like this one. I felt like the girl was a bit of a pick-me. So this girl, she was stuck in a little bit of a pickle. She needed someone to help her get out of the pickle. So they were talking through a wall. And she was just like, oh, are you sure you want me? My sister's better looking than me. Like, shut up. Like, that annoys me. Yeah, so she was a bit of a pick-me. I didn't really like her. So that one was 2 stars from me. But obviously, if you're reading all the collection, like, I would still recommend to read it. But I didn't like it. The fourth book was Drop, Cover and Hold On. This one was about a bakery. So this guy works in a bakery and this girl goes to the bakery. I can't remember what she does. And it was cute. It was funny. It was very unrealistic, but like, I mean, what isn't in these cringy little romance books? It was cute. It was okay. It did the job. 3 stars. The fifth book that I read was With Any Luck. This was by Ashley Poston. This was how I found the whole collection. And this was cute. This was like a wedding day gone wrong. They can't find the bride. So we're kind of looking for the bride. And then the 2 people looking for the bride are connecting. Yeah. This was okay. I gave it 3 stars. It was... I think I'm lying. I think it was a 2-star. Yeah, it was it wasn't the best. But yeah, those are my opinions. But overall, if you're looking for some light, fluffy, cute books to read, then go for it. That's 5 books I counted in February. 5 good read to get me closer to my end of year reading goal. And they were super fast. So if not for that alone, check it out. Okay, so the next book I read in February was Lipsticks and Camera Clicks. So this one was completely a recommendation. I was on TikTok and someone said that they were reading this book and it was really cute. So I decided to check it out and they are right. Cute is the word. This is about a girl who gets cheated on and she goes on a reality TV show. And that's basically it. That's basically the plot. It's very adorable. And it's drama filled. It's reality TV in a book, to be honest with you. It's just cute. It just made the time go by. It wasn't crazy amazing, but it was fun and I enjoyed myself reading it. I think you should go into it without more information about the plot, but there's a little bit of a love triangle. It's called Lipsticks and Camera Clicks by DJ Murphy, and I would recommend. I think I gave it 3 stars. The next book that I read in the month of February was A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. If you watched my previous video, that was all my anticipated 2024 releases. So this book came out in February. 6th of Feb is the date that's coming to mind, so we'll go with that. And I had already pre-ordered it on my Kindle, and I was very excited for this book because this book was written by Tia Williams and she wrote 7 Days in June, which is like my heart in a book. I absolutely love that book. That's a recommendation from me. If you haven't read that book, please stop denying yourself happiness. Read that book. So I was very excited because I clearly already like her work. So I was like, let's go into it. So this book is about Ricky Wilde. She is a florist. She grew up in a rich family and she's never really fit in. So she moves to start her new life and she meets somebody. That's all I kind of want to say in terms of the premise of the book. I will say that unfortunately I was quite disappointed by this book. I didn't really like it, which was shocking to me, and I think the reason that I didn't like it was because it was very insta-love. It was very, they saw each other and they were in love from then, or there was a connection from then. There was no build up, there was no tension, there was no connection formed. It was very, very much they met and we go from there. And in my love stories, I need to know why you guys love each other, and I need to feel that love for you too. And I don't feel like I was connected to either of the characters or connected to their love story. So yeah, for me it was quite disappointing. which I'm quite sad about because I was like looking forward to this book. But you know what? It happens naturally. I checked other reviews and they're quite positive. So I think I'm the problem with this one. But yeah, unfortunately, this book didn't do it for me. I didn't really enjoy it, but you might. I gave that 2 stars, by the way. Okay, so the next book I read has been on my TBR for a while, so I'm very happy that I read it, was Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This book is about a theoretical physicist and a experimental physicist. Elsie, the female main character and the theoretical physicist, she is a fake girlfriend. I don't know the right word to use, but basically you can hire her to be your girlfriend for the day for people who need a +1 for an event or to convince family members or whatever. She's a pretend girlfriend, and she basically pretend dates his brother, and then she also interviews for a job at his university. So it gets a bit sticky. I will say that I definitely did not like the book for the first 60% of it because I felt like Elsie was so smart but so dumb. In terms of like seeing signs and miscommunication and just being blind. It just really frustrated me. But yeah, she was just very, how do I say this without spoiling anything? She was just assuming his opinion on her when he didn't say that. Yeah, that's what I'll say. She was just assuming his opinion, and that was a wrong opinion, and I don't know what he did to give you that impression. So that just frustrated me. I was like, oh, like I get miscommunication tropes, but like in my opinion, it wasn't executed well. So I felt like the first 60% of the book was quite painful, to be completely honest. But I will say the last bit of the book, it really improved it for me, and it changed my rating. So it was going to be a 2 stars, but it is a 3 star. It was good. I enjoyed it. It got better as it went along. And yeah, that's my opinion of this book. Okay, it is time to speak about the star of the show, the love of my life, my child in a book. It is the Magnolia Parks final book. Okay, this is Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. This is the last book in Magnolia and BJ's point of view. This is the 5th book in the series, but there are going to be 2 more in other characters' points of view. I hope that's not confusing. The Magnolia Parks series, if you're not aware of it, is basically rich kids in London who do stupid things. That's what the book is about. Argue with your mum. In the first book, we meet Magnolia and BJ. They've been together since they were like 15, and then they broke up when they were like 20 or something because he cheated on her. That's not a spoiler. That's the first line of the book. Well, I don't know about the first line, but you get what I mean. That's the synopsis. Throughout the book, we're kind of navigating their relationship. They have a very toxic relationship where they're very much in each other's lives and they really can't let each other go. And then we follow them throughout the rest of the book. So that's basically the premise. But in the first book, and the rest of them pretty much, their communication is absolutely awful. Their actions are stupidly childish and frustrating to read about. And they're not likable characters whatsoever. But I will say I've never read a book or a series where the character development is just so crazy. Like in this last book, even in the book before, I just started to love them so much and I fell in love with the characters. You get reasonings or backstory, I should say, as to why they are the way that they are, why they do the things that they do. I'm not saying it's justified in all cases, but it makes you hate them less, and it makes the ride a lot more enjoyable. And the last Magnolia book left on the biggest cliffhanger ever that emotionally broke me to a million pieces. And in this book, we dive straight into it, and it is amazing. It is everything. Tears left my eyes onto my book. Like when I was on the train, I was reading this any chance I got. On the train to work, I was reading it. When I got back home, I was reading it. And I cried in public. Like this book broke me into a million pieces. And did it put me back together? No, it didn't. I was still left shattered, but it was amazing. The character development was absolutely everything. I really hated the first 2 books in this series. So if you have read the first 2 books in the series and you didn't like it, please continue. You are just denying yourself happiness. And if you haven't read the books, don't judge me if you hate the first one, because I did too. It gets better. I absolutely promise you. The way that they act in this book is so different to how they act, and it's just such an amazing story. I wouldn't say go into this book expecting a lot of plot, because you're not going to get that. This is more like a character study. We're learning about these characters and why they think the way that they do. We're just having conversations with people and learning about people, and it's just so beautiful. This book It's so well written. The quotes in here are amazing. Like, as you can tell, I'm holding on to this book for dear life because I don't want to put it down. But this book was just everything. I had high expectations with this book, and Jessa Hastings exceeded them. This book is just my whole entire soul in a book. I really recommend this series. And this is coming from someone who hated it when they started out. So my recommendation would be to just try it. Just try it. I know I'm usually the type of person who hates people who are like, just get to the third book. I'm like, that's your time. But honestly, I'm doing you a favor here. Like, use your time and read these books because they are so, so good. I can't obviously talk about what happens in this book because this is book number 5. It is a journey. It is heartbreaking. It is amazing. Just please, just for me, please. I'm begging you, actually. I'm asking you really nicely. Please read these books and let's talk about it. Thank you. I actually read another Ali Hazelwood book, and this book came out in February too. That's 3 books that came out this month that I read this month. Look at me, up to date. Love that for me. This book is Bride. Apparently this is her first... Is fantasy the word? I'm going to say fantasy. Like, not humans. Yeah, fantasy. Yeah. And this book is about a vampire, she, and a werewolf, he, and they get married. It's an arranged marriage to form the peace between the clans. Is clans the right word? Species? I don't know. Whatever they are. To form the peace, they basically get married, and we're following this book. I will say didn't know what I was going into, but this book kind of gave me what I needed. I thought that this was just going to be a strictly romance, but it really wasn't. We've got some mystery in here. We've got a lot of plot. We've got some politics. I really enjoyed myself. There was a lot going on. I don't know. For fantasy, for this type of book, I wasn't really looking for just romance, just they meet and they fall in love. I kind of wanted more, and I got more. We're finding other characters in this book. We're learning about how the world works. I don't know. This book was really good, really enjoyable. I will say, though, I think it is important to mention, there are spice scenes in this book which are weird. Very weird. Apparently, I should have known about the Omega verse before I went into it. I didn't, and I still don't. I got to a point where I just skipped over the spice scenes because it was just very weird and confusing to me personally. So, warning. The spy scenes are weird. You might dig that. And if you did dig that, I love that for you. But for me, it was weird and I kind of skipped over it. But once I got past that, it was a 4-star for me. I really enjoyed this book. Yeah, it was different. It was fun. Nothing like Love theoretically, but that was a good thing because that book was not the best for me either. So I would recommend if you're looking for something fun and different. Okay, the last books I'm talking about are all part of a series. And this one is a long time coming because I've mentioned this on my channel a few times that I want to read these books, and it is the Chestnut Spring series. I finally got around to it, and in February I read books 1, 2 and 4. What happened to 3, you may ask? It was an accident. I accidentally picked up 4 instead of 3. They were in the wrong order on my shelf, and yeah, it was an accident, but the good thing is these are standalones and you don't really need to read them in order, so no harm, no foul. I will say I have already read book 3 and book 5. I finished the series now, but that was done in March, so we'll talk about it next month. But this month we'll talk about the 3 that I did read. So the first book is Flawless. This is how the series starts. We meet Summer and Rhett, and Rhett is a bull rider and Summer is a PR agent, and he's been a bad boy. He's got some negative press, so she is basically following him around, living with him. Basically his baby sister for the next few weeks or months or wherever it is, because he's got a bad reputation and he needs to fix it. I did see a lot of people say that this book isn't the best in the series and to commit to it. So I kind of went into this book thinking, all right, whatever happens, I'm going to continue. And I do agree with people, I'm not going to lie. Especially for the first half, I thought it was super, super cringe. And it wasn't my favourite. But the second half definitely picked up, definitely got a bit more interesting. And I ended up with I want to say, in all honesty, when I started the book, I was like, 2 stars, it was okay. But upon reflection, I think 3 stars is more accurate. It was fine, it was cute. It wasn't my favourite romance book. But yeah, it was okay, and it was a good start to this series. So yeah, I think I've already explained the book, haven't I? Bull rider, PR agent, and we kind of get together. Obviously he starts not liking her because he's like, why are you following me around? I don't need a babysitter. And she's like, oh, I need to be here, it's my job. So yeah, it was okay. The next book is book 2. This is Heartless, and this book follows Willa, who is Summer's best friend, and Cade, who is Rhett's brother. So this book is a single dad romance. Cade is a daddy, and he has a son called Luke. I think that is his name. We're going to go with that. And Willa is supposed to be a babysitter for the summer because she doesn't have anything to do. Someone wants to spend time with her. So yeah, she comes and we meet them from there. This is the second single dad romance I have read after Caught Up, which is the Windy City series. I love it. I'm a single dad girly. Like, I love that type of book. That trope. I love that trope. I find it really interesting. I love it. I had fun. This book was a lot better than the first one for me. I gave it 4 stars easily. Yeah, I had a blast. I had a good time. I really liked Willa. I thought she was a great character, super bubbly, great personality. Like, she was just fun to read about. And if you like to read about fun people, pick up this book. I loved it. Then I read the 4th book in this series. We'll speak about book 3 and 5 next month. But yeah, the 4th book in the series is called Reckless. This is a accidental pregnancy trope. So the characters are Theo, and Theo works with Rhett. So he's also a cowboy. And Winter. Winter is Summer's sister. So the parents were really creative with the names. They meet, they hook up, and they plan to go their separate ways and never see each other again. And then she finds out she's pregnant, and we follow the story from there. I'm not going to lie. I've never read a pregnancy trope book before, and the idea does not appeal to me personally. Okay, I need the build-up, I need the tension, and the baby kind of speeds things up. It's not for me personally. However, I will say this was done so well. I loved it. I loved it so much. I definitely recommend it. And forget the baby, okay? Forget the baby. I really feel like these two characters have such a connection. I really enjoyed reading about them. What's his name? Theo. I love him. He was a great guy. Great guy from beginning to the end. And I liked Winter too. You kind of get to know her. You meet her in the first book and you're not a fan, but her character development is great. Her reasoning is great. So yeah, honestly, great book. Great book. This was a 5-star for me, by the way. I really loved it. I did not think I would be a pregnancy trope kind of gal, but this book was great. I have to give it to it. This book was amazing. So yes, that is the last book that I read in the month of February. So yeah, I had very, very good reading months. I'm excited for March. We're already not halfway, but like we're 10 days into March. So I'm filming this very, very late. But yeah, hopefully I will have just as good of a reading month in March. I hope that you guys have a good reading month too. Please let me know your favourite February read so that I can read it in March. Because I don't know what to read this month. I need recommendations. And then please, if you read any of the books that I recommended, let me know. Give me a comment and let's talk about it and bond over it, please. To anyone who is new to my channel, thank you so much for finding me. Thank you for watching this video. Please consider subscribing because I would love to have you here. And to those of you who aren't new and came back, thank you so much for coming back, you real one. Love you. Bye.